There we go. Hello, hello. Yeah, everything's pretty much working. I'm pretty pleased with that. Is everything right, though? So let me just check everything. So it's been a hot second whilst these things are going, but I hope everyone is doing all right. Let me just double check. Where's my audio coming from? I think that's right. There we go. Properties. Not the captures. I don't want to capture the properties. Thank you, Nightbot. All the bot's properties. Yes, should be coming from the right microphone. Hiya. Hello everyone. Welcome to Too Long Didn't Read, a TTRPGS read-along stream with me, Fiona. And this is an accountability read-along stream in which Fiona, as I aforementioned, will take an RPG that has, interest me, either from the bookshelf or the Google Drive of mystery. I am a white woman with long browny blondie hair. So I'm looking at it because I've not washed it today because I'm finally going for a haircut. I am honestly, I've been busy, but it's been one of those things where I'm like, I just want a haircut because it's gone as long, like right down to here, which I appreciate isn't long for many people, but for me, I used to have hair like proper, like to chin level. I used to be one of those cool dudes, and then I moved, and then I forgot hair grows and hairdressers are a thing. So I've booked and I found a place that I think will suit my needs. So I don't think I'm going to go super short, but I'm definitely going to go maybe shoulder length because it's just so long. And when I tie it up, it looks great. Anyway, you don't need to know this. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white woman with long brownie blondie hair, and I'm wearing my gym kit because I'm going to go cycling to the hairdressers after this and cycle back. So I might as well go as I mean to start on. But I hope everyone is doing okay. I know I came back 2 weeks ago and was like, I'm ready to start back again, and then straight off again because we are getting ready for the launch of our new podcast called Last Line Rewind. Hopefully, at the end of the month, I've just been deep in editing. We've got a few more bits and pieces to do, which is probably going to take me out quite maybe the rest of the month. But I thought it'd be nice to come on here and do a little bit of reading because I've had to do lots of little admin stuff today that I've left behind. So I thought, you know what, let's take a break and do some reading. But yes, so let's just get right into it then, shall we? Today, friends, we are looking at something called Wilderfeast. This is a TTRPG about becoming part of the natural world by making it a part of you. That is the tagline. If you've seen Dungeon Meshi or Delicious in Dungeon, the anime and the manga, that's what it's kind of inspired from. This won, I believe, a couple of Ennies, or was at least nominated for some Ennies last year. And it interests me because it has some really beautiful artwork. And of course, it's hot topic, hot IP just now in terms of that stuff. Because if you've not seen Dungeon Meshi, I absolutely recommend you look at it. If you ever thought, what would it be like to watch or read about like a dungeoneering party going into a dungeon that isn't Critical Role, and covers similar themes and maybe isn't as, well, I say family friendly. I mean, Critical Role's not family friendly either, but like if you wanted something that wasn't like, here is like a cool Americanized thing about how it's done, check this out. And because I do think it's got some interesting bits to it. It feels very video gamey in places, very funny in places, very dark in places. I will spoil it, like one of the scenes I saw early on, which I just thought was just an incredible idea, was that they're in a dungeon, and this sort of dungeoneering party that you were looking for, they found some treasure, and it turned out like there were like beaded pearls and like discs and coins, stuff like that. And I know what you're thinking. It's mimics. No, they were like bugs and beetles. So the person had held up like this ring of this necklace of pearls, and it turned into a massive millipede. And I was like, oh, horrible, but I really liked that. It was just really interesting. Yeah, just a different way of looking at it, and I've got some really interesting characters as well. So yeah, so that's my first recommendation. Go check that out. But other than that, I've not read anything about this RPG. Again, we've got the quick start today. It's by a publisher called Horrible Guild, who I feel they do board games normally. Is just what I've got off the top of my head. Yes, they've got, so on I'm looking at the Drive-Thru RPG pages now, they've got Wilderfeast is one of their RPGs. I love Delicious in Dungeon. Oh, hello, Snap Grapple Pop. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, I really love Delicious in Dungeon as well. I think it's one of the... I've only got halfway through the series, and then it turned really dark, and I was like, ooh, I can't watch this on the tube. But they also have a game called Vileborn, which also has a quick start as well, which I vaguely remember seeing on Kickstarter, but it's one of those things where I'm like, ooh, the artwork looks really cool and interesting. But then I was like, is this just another game? And actually looking at it here, Vileborn, the author is the top-selling Not the End. I think we looked at Not the End. That's an Ennie-nominated one as well. So maybe we'll look at Vileborn at some point. But I feel like I'm just going to look up Horrible Guild. Yes, there you go, board games. And did they do... I want to say they did do Railroad Inc. Railroad Inc. Yes. Railroad Inc. is also a really good game. Very cool, peaceful game. And I've got... I'm just looking at some other ones. Yeah, it looks like mostly... role-playing games. One More Quest, Vileborn, and Wilderfeast. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself now. But One More Quest is the other one. So yeah, so it looks like they're branching out into role-playing games. And actually, why don't we just... Before we dive in, let me do the quick... disclaimers at the top. So firstly and foremost, I am not a game designer. I read a lot of games, I run a lot of games, and I edit a lot of games in terms of actual play production. As I said, I'm looking to expand my knowledge of role-playing games. I'm looking to see what works, what I like, what is out there, whether or not I think it can be improved with my very little knowledge about it. But so any critique I give is just something that's come out of my brain as I'm looking at it right then and then. There's been a lot of discourse recently about, you don't truly know a game until you've played it, which I think I spoke about it last time, the Triangle Agency review that Quinn's Quest did. I find it really interesting, that review, and I'm not saying, and I say this because I've not run it, and I think it's interesting because it obviously shows a gap in my knowledge of, because I read a little bit of it for this stream, and I remember at the time saying, ooh, well, this is a really interesting book, but I've not seen any game mechanics because we've only looked at the first 30 pages, and yeah, it turns out that's the difficult thing. So I know I think there's a bit of poo-pooing about just reading stuff and not playing it to get a full review, but I think it's always good thing to just try and read as well, even if you don't have time to play it. So that's why I always try and encourage. So but all that's to say is that I know my critiques might not be fully formed, and I know that, is it a full, intense review about something? No, but I think I know a lot about what I like and what not, quite off the bat in terms of first impressions. So hopefully that is worth something. Second is content warnings. Is it content warnings? Oh, no. Second is, I've not been sponsored to do this. I don't know Horrible Guild, as I've said. I've not read this book. I've certainly, unless they would like to sponsor me to do stuff, that'd be great. So I've just literally picked it, as I pick with all my RPGs. I have a whole library of PDFs that I've gone, oh, that looks great, and then it gets tossed unceremoniously into the Google Drive, but with a number, and so I use the random number generator, and it picks it out. And I think the reason I picked this one out as well, I sort of try to pick more Ennie-related ones that happened last year, so that I'm looking at the zeitgeist a little bit and oh, that looks really interesting, and yeah, just see what's up and coming. So that's the reason I picked it. Random number generator and the Ennies sort of filter that I had on that. And also, I should say now that I am an Ennies judge for this coming year. So I can't go into too much about that sort of stuff, but this is kind of me also honing my expertise on that as well. And I just find it very useful, but that's the only sort of maybe little bias we have here. Like I said, I've not been sponsored to this, and I probably can't do much sponsored content anymore by myself as a result of the Ennies things, which is a bit sad, but we do what we must because we can. The final thing, content warnings. If you've not watched Delicious in Dungeon or Dungeon Messy, and you've no idea, it's about eating monsters and using all their parts. So there's definitely going to be, I think, talks about how we use nature and animals, and maybe incorporate them into that sort of discussion. So there may be themes of vegetarianism and veganism, perhaps, that come up here. That's the only things I can see. Obviously, combat and fight with monsters, that sort of thing. But that's all I think will come up in terms of content warnings. If anything else comes up, or maybe I've already mentioned bugs, I appreciate, but anything else additional to that sort of stuff, it's high fantasy. So just, if that's not for you, totally get it. So just take a moment, come back if and when you're ready, if you want to carry on watching. We'd love to have you here, but I appreciate it's not for everyone. All right, let's just get into, and what do we do first? As always, let me go to the game scene. Well done, Fiona. You've not set it up properly. So I usually try and go to the website, and I'll put a link here as well where you can get this RPG if you find our chat interesting today. Is that it can be available as PDF. I think only PDF actually. Oh no, look at that core book. Sorry, look at all the stuff you get with it. Yeah, you got a lot of extra additional things in there. But yeah, what we're looking for is the quick start, as you can see here, which is free to look at. It's 85 pages, which is pretty good for a quick start for free. The core book itself here, obviously I'm on the US website, move this over, it's about $30. And then anything edition, look at that collector's edition. Let's have a quick look at that. Gosh, you get all sorts of little bits and pieces for it. We have, I don't know, I can't even make a bigger picture out of it. Maybe, can I? Oh, look, a little bit. So it looks like we've got some counters. We've got, look at that. Hang on, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, the music's also quite intense for me. I don't know if it is for anyone else. Let's put on my favourite. Oh, it says Strixhaven, The Waltz of Books. That's my favourite one. There we go. So let's, I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this image. I appreciate it's a little bit pixelated, but look at that DM screen. Just to just orderly describe it, it is a pan, like on it looks like a steel rack, like someone holding a pan, like a close-up of it. And I think it's like monsters being cooked over it, as if it's in motion. That's such a cool image. I don't know if I'd have that on the GM screen, but I like it a lot but the problem is there's a lot of like empty space around it. It's not really an image made for like a widescreen. I think it's interesting. They've actually got rid of in the collector's edition this physical box. I wonder if they have it for the other for the normal edition. It's very clean. It looks like it's just like almost like a 5-star restaurant. You've got Wilderfeast there with a little chili on it, and then there's a couple of other bits and pieces, and there's like a clock that goes to I say 12. It's 12, and then there's 0 at the top there. Some extra bits, so you can get. It seems like you get a lot for it, and that's what was that? That was 60. Oh, that's zoomed in quite a lot now. That's $165. Gosh. Quite a lot of stuff, but yeah, let me go to see the actual physical is just core book Kickstarter edition. You get a little book and a map there as well, it seems like. Sorry, I know I'm getting distracted, but you see, we can see the cover there, this gorgeous, I think, like piece in sort of, I'll only describe it. It's free adventurers sitting around a fire with sort of big weaponry there. We can see one person has like a huge sort of kitchen knife or cleaver for cutting meat. Someone there is having a saucepan over the fire, and someone there has like a prong type thing, and they're all sort of talking, and then behind them looks like a big bat creature looking down at them as they're sort of talking away. Very much that scene from The Hobbit with the ogres, the trolls. I love the colours of it. It's so beautiful, and it feels very oh, hello Alex, nice to see you here, my friend. It looks very what's the word? It looks very family orientated, like kid friendly. It reminds me, I had it in my head just then. What was it? Very Land of Eam, which also won quite a few Ennies last year. And so that's what it feels like. It's trying to get into that. And look, you get a little cookbook as well, the Adventurer's Cookbook, and then presumably a map. I'm guessing that's like a piece of paper rather than a cloth map, although I think cloth maps are great and I think they're coming back in fashion. Anyway, like I said, what we're looking at today is the Quick Start Edition, which we'll go on to here. I will say I got mine from TTRPG, from Drive-Thru RPG. I know they're still ongoing, all the stuff that's happening for them. We love a good cookbook, absolutely. So you can get it here for free if you've got an account on here, but I'm going to read the blurb from the website, and I've linked to the website, the Wilderfeast one. Actually, maybe I won't, because it's only got a little bit here. I want to just double check. Ooh, let's close all these windows. Probably read it from here, just because it's got it all here. So we always look at the copy, just because it's kind of nice to know what it's selling as. And again, for me, it's easier to read the copy on an online store than to go buy the thing and then go to the final page, is where we see the sort of the bio here. So it says here, which let me increase a little bit. So it says, Wilderfeast, TM, so trademarked, is an RPG about becoming a part of the natural world by making it a part of you. Players assume the role of wilders, monster hunters / chef who wield gargantuan kitchen implements and gain powerful mutations from each monster they eat. Using their powers, they seek harmony between humanity and the wild. All creatures, be they human or monsters, obey the one law of the one land. You are what you eat. All right. I mean, that's a pretty good, like, straightforward, efficient, here's what it is in a nutshell. I like the fact we're called Wilders. That's quite fun. Is the GM called head chef? Are you the Gordon Ramsay of the wilds? I feel there's something else about eating things and gaining mutations. Another RPG we read at a long time ago, but maybe I'm just thinking of it. It feels also very Quest. You know, the RPG whereby, again, it just felt very much like you could do whatever you want in terms of, like, story, but it had the same sort of setting. So that's the sort of vibes I'm getting from it. So I do think it's maybe targeted. It feels like it's targeted at a younger audience, perhaps. Maybe audiences of the anime or the manga, just to cover a wide interpretation of it. And there's a few more bits and pieces here talking about like the setting. So a post-apocalyptic supercontinent, the wildest mutated rangers. Here's the monster and the game system, and it says here, because I always find this interesting about the game system, because look, D&D is fine. I'm playing it just now for RP Geeks, but you know, it's nice to know what else is out there. Also, I didn't have a normal glass today, so I've got my big water bottle, so apologies. We have, it says here, it's a simple but flexible dice pool system. The mechanics are built around a central idea that the humans use D8s and the monsters use D20s. Wilders are both human and monstrous, and so they can switch between dice sizes. Now that's interesting, because obviously another RPG that uses like different dice sizes depending on who you are, the player or the GM, is Daggerheart as well. There are better things out there these days. Absolutely, Alex, absolutely. So that's interesting, that because that was my big complaint about Daggerheart, which I know is a very sort of not selfish thing, but it's more me going like, oh, I like D12s. I want to roll D12s. Here, you get to pick, or you get to switch between the dice sizes depending, presumably, on what you've eaten. That's interesting. Oh, you know what it is I'm thinking about eating things and doing stuff? I'm thinking of Mistborn, because I've been listening to it, because I'm going to try and look up the Cosmere RPG for a future DM's book club, so that's why I was thinking of it. Anyway, thanks to a modern and versatile style of combat that blends puzzle-solving thrills and a fast-paced action strategy, every pack of wilders can take a different approach to the hunt. Ooh, I like that as a mission thing. Will you split into groups and attract the monster's fury to expose its weak spots, or will you growl in its face and charge down? Look, don't get me wrong, I love when we bold things. And I know what it's doing, it's trying to be like, here's all the things, and like, oh, isn't this exciting? But you should bold things when it's like the terminology of it. So like, you know, wilders should be bolded less necessarily. Harmony, gargantuan kitchen implements. I just think that's great. Maybe that's what I'd do in future. Maybe if I get a letter in an RPG game as a GM and just send it to someone, and I'm like, by the way, as you read it, the things in bold you have to enunciate or perform properly well. But all the stuff is just completely random. It says here, each wilder has a tool, e.g. cleaver, pan, mitt, a specialty, e.g. baker, butcher, fisher, and a free-course backstory. A personal history framed through food. That sounds quite cool, actually. I like that. Again, they've got the theme and they're digging deep to it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, those in chat who have probably watched a lot more of Delicious in Dungeon and maybe remember it a bit more than I did. Did people get mutations from eating the monsters? I don't remember that at all. Unless it's about a particular character. Alex says, is Paul Hollywood an enemy in this universe like the Lord of Bread? Oh my goodness. Well, this is the thing. You could have so much fun with this, right? You could have, what if you met an old wise monk on the trail who seems to be a bit tipsy, and you find out that's Prue afterwards. Or, I mean, I know she's not doing it anymore, but Sandy Toxvig being like a halfling like guide in some way. Any food stuff you could do. What about... I'm just trying to think. Jamie Oliver. Well, Delia Smith could be a good one. Oh man, we could have such a world. Alison could be a bard. Absolutely, she could be a bard. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, she's such a good addition. I love her so much. Anyway, enough about Bake Off. And I know I've not even caught up to the series. I'm so behind. as I'm behind with this, let's go and let's get into this, into reading this game, shall we? Because I will just try. She's my favourite host. I agree. I think she's great. I do not mind Matt Lucas at all. I think he's okay. I think Noel Fielding was also okay, but I really love Sandy. That's my... Hey! Oh, hello! Hey, is this the Delicious Dungeon-esque game? I think I saw it. I was started a while back. You have come just in time. You know what? I've never pronounced your name out loud, my friend. Do you have a way to put it in the chat for pronunciation guide? Because in my head I go, that's it, and now I have no idea. I know your real life name, but I want to keep it to the Discord because of the improv thing we were hopefully doing. So could you? Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just going to pronounce it Exorian. That's my gut instinct, so we'll find it out there. But nice to see you, friend. In answer to your question, so I got very excited then. You can tell it's been a hot minute since I did this. This is Wilderfeast. Exoria question. Okay, great. We don't know either. I love that for us. What a journey. We're not going to enable scrolling. Okay, there we go. So, yes, this is the quick start for Wilderfeast. Never had to spell it out before. Fair enough. So this, exactly as you said, this is the Delicious and Dungeon inspired one, we believe. I'm sure it might have some other things there, but yeah, done by Horrible Guild, and we're just going to go through the quick start. As I said at the top, the quick start is 85 pages, colour as well. It's interesting, sometimes we'll release, there's this habit just now of releasing games without the art, but the fully formed rules, which I'm always a big fan of for a reduced price. But here we've got some gorgeous art. As I said, we're going to go through it bit by bit. First things first, I don't want the document overview. I've turned off all the AI stuff, but it's still bloody there, and I hate it so much. But it looks like there is no alt text, which is always a shame. God, what's this music? Sorry. Dark Battle. We're going to go back to Waltz of the Books because that's my favourite. So there's no alt text, which is a shame, but it does look like. Can I read this? No, I cannot. I think that's just the logo up there, and the quick start is in text. Okay, that's fine. But there is a Horrible Guild logo for the publisher, so you know where it's come from at least. And the reason I say this is it's always good to put your name on your work. Exorian. Maybe I should go by that. Yeah, just always spell it out, Exorian. So we're going to go... sorry, I've lost my train of thought, as always. So there's no alt text, which is always a bit of a shame. But I think, because this image is such eye-opening, it's glad to have this very eye-catching logo at the top. So we've got this sort of like the Wilderfeast in capitals in orange, and you are what you eat as the tagline. That's a pretty solid tagline. It kind of explains what the game is in that. And you've got here two like kitchen knives pointing out. So again, I like the theme of it. All of it is going to be very. You know what? It reminds me. Sorry, another tangent. It reminds me of the food. What was it called? There was another one on Kickstarter, which was like an RPG but with food for D&D. And we did it on DM's Book Club just a little while ago. I'm going to have to look up my own podcast now. I want to say it's not Candyland. There we go. Looking up my own podcast to double check. Feast of Legends. There you go. Feast of Legends. What we did, where again the whole world was that you were food. But the way you created the characters was that you could make, like, say, a lasagna, and you'd be like, okay, you're food, and then get some tags in it as well. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So there's a lot of food related RPGs out there. So if you find this sort of stuff interesting, you've got a lot to mill from. Exorian says that creature on the front looks like the tiger from K-pop Demon Hunters, which they could have never known about if this came out in like 2023. Yeah, exactly. I I think it's supposed to be a bat, like a huge ass bat. Like it's pretty big, but I don't know where it's coming. I presume it's like folded down from the trees, but it does look like the tiger. And again, you could probably incorporate sensitively those sort of creatures into it. Anyway, I've chuckled along enough as it is. Let's get started. So, welcome to the One Land. Welcome to the quick start version of Wilderfeast, a tabletop game, role-playing game about monster hunting and campfire cuisine. Nice. You can find it and its add-ons here. So there's a Horrible Guild. That's where you can buy it. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of when we have URLs like that, but all of them seem to be hyperlinks, so that's pretty good. To help you dig into the game as fast as possible, the Quick Start contains a streamlined set of rules as well as a tutorial adventure designed so that you and your group can learn as you play. In this adventure, you'll travel through the wildness of the One Land. You forage ingredients, read clues and tracks, and clash with frenzied monsters. We'd love to hear how your journey went, so join our Discord community to share your experiences and meet fellow players. Now, what an interesting call to action. Often there's like, join our Discord, find like-minded people, but here it's like, hey, we'd love to hear how you played in the game. And, you know, I always think that's pretty nice. Also, I quite like how it's saying like, hey, at the top, setting out expectations. It's a streamlined set of rules and a tutorial adventure, so you can learn as you play. Great, love that. Oh, sorry, jumped ahead. It's because I've... Hang on. Let's do these enable scrolling. There we go. Or subscribe to our newsletter to stay updated on future developments. Finally, the One Land is a world that truly comes alive in the hands of the players. You know what? Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Oh, so much better. There we go. And we feel the best way to learn what Wilderfeast is to play it yourself or watch others enjoying a session. Look for Wilderfeast online as well as at gaming conventions near you, or bring it yourself. We provide play materials, game components, and custom adventures on our website. You can also help us promote the game on social media using the hashtag Wilderfeast hashtag. I mean, yeah, you should always £, I guess is what you'd say. £, Wilderfeast hashtag. There's no such thing as too many cooks in this kitchen. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you for your interest in Wilderfeast. We're excited to share more with you, and we hope you find yourself at home in the One Land. And then contact us at Press Horrible. You know what? Nice. I like that as a simple introduction. Often we have with these core books, and I'm sure it's the same as usually like a point of view or like a quick, like, this is how we made the game. Here it's just like, hey, we know it's a quick start. Here's some things you need to know. Hey, it's really cool if you get to play it and share that with people. Let us know. And we're in keeping with the food stuff here. Great. Love it. Then we have the image again. I've zoomed in a little bit more so you can actually see these people. Oh, look, this person here has like almost like bird-like feet. That's pretty cool. And like, this person here looks like they've got, I want to say feathers. Oh, you know what it is. They've eaten some of the monsters and they've taken on some of their appearances. That's what it is. That's pretty cool. Just trying to see. This person I think they've got bandaged legs, but I wonder if they're like, is that a hoof, do you think? That person there that's sort of laughing away? Or maybe I don't know. Or maybe their eye, something with their eye. Is that sort of mutation? How interesting. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit and look at the content. So we have in total, we've got 8 chapters. We can see chapter 7 and 8 is the sort of introductory adventure. We're probably not going to look at that today just because of time. Also, we don't want to spoil it in case people are here. But then we've got chapter 1 is the instructions, which seems to have everything what we need to know. We've got the characters, chapter 2, how to play, which is sort of like I want to say the biggest chapter here, about, 10 pages or so? The trail, the hunt, and the feast. Presumably like the parts of the section there. What I will say is that it looks like, it looks like quite a few of these are hyperlinked to get us to the place. Actually, all of them are hyperlinked, which is pretty good. It also looks, right now, very easy to read. Like nice space around it. Maybe I would say maybe a tiny bit smaller. It would be nice these maybe a little bit bigger perhaps, but it's quite nice. And we can see at the back here on the page, there's like, I think that's a flame or like some smoke. I don't know if it's picking up as well on the screen, but like I love that when it's just a little bit of detail to make it not like a completely white page, so it stands out a bit. I guess my only criticism would be like certain parts here might be a little bit difficult to read, but I think that's pretty good. Oh, what's my phone go off? Oh, how exciting. Alright. Ooh. Right. Oh, interesting. And then there seems to be like little chili peppers here. So getting started, rolling a test, other meals, and then signs, trail. I wonder if that's like hey, if you need to play this in like 10 minutes, here's all you need to know. That's why I wonder if it's there. I'm just trying to see what that back image is. It looks like, is that food? Like, I think it's a pot, maybe. But interesting that we've got also like an appendix for conditions, quick reference, hey, love a quick reference, combat tracker, and pre-generated characters. Nice, nice, nice. And then we've got like a drawn image of, looks like how I would call like a Miss Frizzle kind of character. So we've got an individual with frizzy hair with goggles on, wearing like an apron with like what looks like a flamethrower type thing, but she's got a claw for a hand over here on the left, on her left hand, sorry. Pretty cool. Oh, look at that image there. So it looks like each of these chapters are going to have like a top image here, and we can see two people looking at, I wanted to say it's like a mixture between an aardvark and a big turtle kind of character walking away, and there's a little baby one on their tail. Oh, already though, look how small that text is. Like, I've zoomed in quite a lot. If I go to my normal way of reading, this is 100%. Oof. Oh, and it's one column, and I know I go on about too many columns, but I'm already feeling it. Look at that. I mean, it's better. It's better than some of the other games we've read, but already I'm like, ugh. But we'll brace it. All right. So it says, introduction. The trial awaits you. Monsters in their infinite variety roam the one land. Some tall-necked and implacable? Yeah, implacable, stride through parched deserts, each titanic footprint swarming with opportunists when the rain at last falls. What the hang on? Each titanic footprint swarming with opportunists when the rain at last falls. Could be worse, says Alex. Yes, no, I know, but I'm like, wow. Well, I thought it'd be a little bit bigger. What does that sentence mean? Have I missed something? Each titanic footprint swarming with opportunists when the rain at last falls. Oh, I see. It's like the footprint is left behind, it then rains, and then it's like a little swimming pool for those creatures. That's what I assume it'd be, right? Others slither through buzzing swamps, spitting fire and flaring their roofs as they compete for territory. Monsters coast through the clouds, wallow in mud, knife through the seas, and swing through the canopies. They are beautiful, brutal, quirky, terrifying, playful, ravenous, and each is unlike the other. Okay, well, there's far too many words here. That's 6 words. We've got to get rid of one of those. You have to be beautiful and brutal, quirky and terrifying, playful and ravenous. Like, it just, that's a lot of listing, which we might not need. Monsters, dressed in finery, rule the one land. Consuls partition the horizon with cold eyes. Abacuses click as they calculate yields of grain and meat. Silk-robed merchants pay the starving and desperate to poach the last members of vanishing species. And every season, by order of the magistrates, the trains haul away hundreds of prisoners for the distant giants to eat alive. Okay, you know when I said it was family-friendly earlier? Nope. From their frost-rimed capital at the centre of the continent, these giants glut themselves on every delicacy imaginable, and yet their appetites are still not satisfied. Monsters, freakish and grotesque, protect the one land. As the curse virus called the frenzy spreads, the mutated rangers call wilders fight to maintain harmony between humanity and nature. They kill the creatures they must, nurture the ones they can, and consume the ones they fail to save. And in doing so, wilders transform into half-human chimeras. For like all monsters, they derive their power from the one law of the land: you are what you eat. Okay, so first sentence was, I like how it's like, here is the setting. I like it's like, we've got monsters here who roam, we've got monsters here that rule, and then we have monsters here who protect. And it sort of sets up these 3 factions. However, what a weird way to go around it. I think you'd absolutely need to condense it down a little bit, or just rewrite something. It's like, this sentence, the that took me off guard. And every season, by order of the magistrates, the trains haul away hundreds of prisoners for the distant giants to eat alive. Classic. All right. So it says hunter, ranger, keeper, chef. It's like a knockoff of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. You are a wild eater, better known as a wilder. You are human, though you might not look like it, as with every hunt you incorporate part of another monster inside you, or into you, sorry. The first amongst your kind dedicated their lives to containing the frenzy, the incurable curse which amplifies hunger, pain, and rage within a vicious cycle. But despite their best efforts, the frenzy now circulates with a virulent. This is where my pronunciation does not go. Virulent, yeah. Speed across the one land. Hope remains you can save the monsters threatened by the supernatural disease, but it is a hope that requires diligence and sacrifice. Wilders travel in packs, but they are not a formal order. No central authority or hierarchy governs them, and each is free to decide both what harmony with nature means, and also how they hope to achieve it. Some wilders live like cave-dwelling beasts, clad in rugged furs and eschewing all polite company. Others act like wandering knights, adored by some and hated by others, and their artful mutations forever sparing them from those who have not sworn their oaths. Feels a little bit like Cosmic Sentry Knights as well. It's definitely got the same sort of art style, I think. Wilders sleep in the ruins of the Green Kings, in the cargo holds of the rattling trains, and in the dens of the long-toothed monsters who consider them family. They come from every background, and their travels take them across the width of the one land. You decide what path you walk as a wilder, but though you follow no creed but your own, all wilders still perform the same duties. And here we've got these duties here. You can see that they've bolded them. So it says here, you hunt monsters. Wilders scavenge their oversized arc steel weapons from the giant Green King ruins, and others can even lift their trademark arms. With such a tool in hand and packmates by your side, you track down monsters whose frenzies advance too far to manage, and you put them down before they hurt themselves or anyone else. Many wilders wish gentler forms of euthanasia were an option, but these berserk titans never fall quietly. I've just made a connection of why we have giant weapons. It's because there are giants here. That's why. I was like, oh, they make really big weapons. Is it to fight the... It's just because they've got access to them. That makes more sense. And then it says, you cook monsters. The frenzy spreads from fallen corpses, but you know the techniques to prepare frenzied meat and make it safe for consumption. Eating your hunts is what gives you your powers, and whilst all creatures in the one land take a measure of supernatural strength from their meals, only wilders go under such permanent and dramatic transformations. The one land's best wilders are also its most skilled chefs. Okay. And then it says, you feed monsters. Healing the world takes more than just killing your way through it. You must take care for the injured and orphan monsters left behind. Your beliefs dictate when it is right to interfere with the often callous reality of nature. But if you refuse to act at all, then it won't be long before the one land's most wondrous creatures disappear entirely. You comfort, cure, and raise monsters who die without your help, and in doing so, you demonstrate your humanity, or perhaps a quality that transcends it. Go forth in hunger, wilder. The trial awaits you. Interesting. I wonder if there's going to be a section about just themes that we have here. Like we've got, here's the pitch to us, the longer pitch, which overall I'm intrigued by. Interesting, it says permanent and traumatic transformations. I wasn't expecting, I was thinking it was more like a temporary boost, that you have crab claws for a little bit. But I'm not mad at it. Yeah, I wonder if there's a better way of putting this forward. But it'll be interesting to see if there's, like I said, if there's any expectations. Here's the themes we can cover and some safety tools, because, yeah, it feels like we're tracking down monsters whose frenzy advances too far to manage. I wonder if there's a little bit of in my head, just thinking of all the stuff that's happening just now in the world with the health and animal care. You know, we had bird flu, which I know was a little while ago, foot and mouth for those people in the UK, and I assume it happened in the US as well. I mean, bird flu is so big. Well, it is still quite big over here, I think. So it's just, yeah, I'm just there going like, would we? I don't know. So I wonder if there's just ways we can deal with that. Anyway, let me just check one thing. Okay, cool. Getting started. So, welcome to the One Land. Wilderfeast is a tabletop role-playing game about monster hunting and campfire cuisine. If you don't know what a tabletop role-playing game is, the internet can help. Quick to Google. Stupid Google AI. In essence, you're going to be playing pretend with your friends, and the rules of the game mediate the conversation. The dice and other players are what make the tabletop RPGs different from sitting down and writing a novel, adding an element of unpredictability that make the game tense and exciting. One player is the guide. This system's term for the game master and GM. Okay, tick back the other way. We get an all right name. I still think head chef is what I want to be called. Who facilitates the game and brings the world to life. The rest are wilders, the protagonists of a story about finding harmony between humanity and nature. While the guide knows the One Land better than the wilders, the One Land can still surprise them, and the guide should stay open to unexpected discoveries as they explore the wilderness with their fellow players. Games like this often say, play to find out what happens next. We second that, but for Wilderfeast specifically, we'd like to add, play to become part of this world. Seek connections, cherish little details, and care fearlessly, even when apathy may be easier. By doing so in ways great and small, you make this world a part of you. Now, you know what? I like that. I like that paragraph a lot, actually. I think because Play to Find Out is from Powered by the Apocalypse. Apocalypse World, and it's used everywhere. Obviously, I know Quinn's Quest they actually have the podcast called Play to Find Out, and it's always that sort of like, that's always something you should encourage players to do. But this is really interesting. It's like, hey, other play principles you should think about easily: connections, cherish little details, care fearlessly, even when apathy is easier. It's just easier not to do that. It's find a way to care. Love that. And look at this image here, by the way. Sorry, I'm not described. So we've got this background still of it. I mean, I want to say these are fingers and they're eating something, but I can't quite tell what it is. But here we have like looks like a big bird or / dragon type thing, like a dinosaur almost, with two twin tails, green and orange plumage. And then there's a creature on its back that is about to cut its head off, I think, with a massive cleaver. Here we go. Setting and tone. Here we go. The One Land is vast, wild, and old. It is populated entirely by monsters, extraordinary creatures who take inspiration from paleontology, cryptozoology, and worlds like Monster Hunter, and Godzilla. Monsters celebrate and exaggerate the methods life uses to survive. Their supernatural abilities are grounded in the pressures of their environment, and in them you can see echoes of familiar animals from our Earth, both extant and extinct. What does extant mean? I've never heard of that word before. Let me try and find it. So you learn things every day with me. Extant. Oh, still in existence, it's its main meaning. It also, according to the AI overview, is a television series starring Halle Berry. Interesting. I didn't know that was a word for opposite of extinct. That's quite interesting. So speaking of humans, they came to this world several thousands of years ago. They mostly live in small rural communities in which the full breadth of human diversity, gender, sexuality, appearance, ability, etc. can be found. Their post-apocalyptic technology seems, anachronistic to us, combining futuristic magical salvage with tools made from stone and bone. They have access to high-speed levitating trains, for example, but they use clubs and spears instead of guns. So a little bit like Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon Zero Dawn, which is one of my favourite games, by the way. Really cool. I hadn't thought of that. And also the Monster Hunter. I've not played Monster Hunter. I hear it's all right. I also like I don't know if you can see it, but the teeny tiny, it says TMs here. TM. Food is no exception. Some people eat pottage from iron kettles. Others have... What's pottage? So I'm learning all things today. Pottage. Oh, pottage is a thick, hearty stew or soup. It's made from boiling potatoes, grains, and if available, meat or fish. I didn't know that. It comes from the same old French root as potage, which is a dish of more recent origin. Oh, that's the Wikipedia for you. How interesting. There you go, stew. So potage from iron kettles. Others have cheeseburgers and fries, and still more cooked meals with no easy parallel, enabled by the world's fantastical abundance. Whatever cuisine you know best, you can find its analogue in the one land. If you want to replicate the culture surrounding that cuisine for what is food without its context, we trust you to do so thoughtfully and creatively. Oh, look at that. Perfect. You've sort of said, hey, let's be sensitive about cultures here, especially if we're doing it around food and what that means. What a great way of putting it. Love that. Finally, the one land is vulnerable. A global trading conglomerate named the Charter expands from the centre of the supercontinent unknowingly and perhaps uncaringly spreading the frenzy through the use of scavenge technology. Because of the frenzy, people live in fear of monsters, and because of their fear, they ask the Charter to defend them. And because of the Charter, the frenzy spreads further, and a big old vicious cycle there. I see. The wildest are the ones most dedicated to stopping this spiral, but though they are capable and skilled, they are still small compared to the world around them. So a little bit of climate change analogy there as well. Interesting. So this quick start won't go into detail about the setting, but even in the full version of Wilderfeast leaves plenty of blanks for you to fill. You can do this in every RPG, no matter the style or genre, but to make it explicit for guides and wilders alike, be creative, bend the rules, and fill the world with monsters, regions, and recipes only you could make. Every playgroup's version of the one land is going to be different, synthesized from your unique blend of imaginations and experiences. One thing to keep in mind as you explore your take of this world is that it is both serious and silly. Nature isn't self-conscious. A majestic Leonin monster can spend 1 minute overseeing its territory backlit by an orange sun whilst its mane ripples in the wind, and the next spend the next licking its butt. Likewise, as wilders grapple with the deterioration of the natural world and the human systems responsible for that decline, but at the end of the day, you're also wielding oversized cooking utensils to turn kaiju into dinner. The aim is for the two sides to enhance rather than undermine each other. And as a group, you'll find the balance of tone that works best for you. Amazing. It's hit that sort of questionable, like how serious do you want to go? It seems quite goofy and cartoony. What a great way. Again, really good writing on that front. Safety. This game touches on heavy materials. Animal sickness and animal death especially can be sensitive topics, and some players might find certain types of animals unsettling, like spiders or snakes. Use safety tools to ensure the game stays fun for everyone, and we recommend the X card. And I'm going to check. Does that link works? Well done. The link does work. Nice. Again, just it's so short, right? It just gets to the point. Love that. And then it says gameplay the basics. The gameplay in Wilderfeast cycles through phases, each representing a major aspect of an adventure in the one land. Whilst every phase has its own rules, they all build off the same foundation. Okay, different rules. So it's almost a bit like, because I was looking again a little while ago on where we looked at His Majesty the Worm and how it has certain phases, but they all use the same mechanic sort of with the tarot cards. And there's something else I was thinking of whilst I was reading this. Oh, what was it? Nature isn't self-conscious, no. Vulnerable. Oh, it reminds me a little bit of Mappa Mundi, which is the other RPG. We played it on RP Geeks earlier this year, and it's like an ecological, environmental sort of like game. And in that, rather than killing the creatures, you're sort of like understanding what's happened and trying to help them in some way. So that's what it is. So yeah, it's weird how all these games kind of interconnect with the theme. So there is if this game isn't for you necessarily, there's clearly like 3 other games I can think of that could satisfy that itch. And certainly Mappa Mundi is definitely aimed at a younger audience, whereas this one I don't think is now that I've looked at it. So we have 4 phases. We have the free play, the trail, the hunt, and the feast. So in free play, it says be creative and form connections with the world around you. Set goals, roll tests, and develop your relationships with both your pack mates and the one land. And just think pack mates is also a good game term here for this, I think. And then we have the trail. Explore the wild as you follow signs left by the monster. Discover tracks, overcome events, and traverse areas with the unique terrains and foraging opportunities. And then we have the hunt. Confront your prey using all your trainings, wits, and monstrous strength. Bring your traits and techniques to bear in the fast-paced tactical combat. And finally, we have the feast. Gather around the fire to share a meal with your packmates. Mix and match ingredients to restore stamina and gain bonuses, both temporary and permanent. I guess my one thing, just thinking about it, is that this feels like this is the same. You're going to be doing the same kinds of missions over and over. It's like, okay, there's a creature, go find it, neutralize it, eat it, repeat. And I'm wondering, is that really fun for a longer term campaign? Would it be like, because I feel like the thing with Delicious and Dungeon from memory was it was about the people doing stuff and also being able to go back to the surface and like there was like a story behind it, and the creatures like were like scary, and but there was like an overarching story to it. This feels like just like you're doing a job, and again it's that dungeon delving aspect. Again, His Majesty the Worm also does something similar as well, but yeah, what kind of stories can we tell? It feels like we're going to tell the same stories over and over, which again might not be a bad thing, and maybe I'm just curious. So the core rules. So every character has levels in style, which represents broad approaches to actions, and skills, which represents the types of actions wilders and monsters perform the most. If a character attempts an action that with something at stake, they make a test using a style combined with a skill, such as a mighty call to intimidate a monster into backing away, or a swift search to follow in the tracks in the undergrowth. The basic steps for any test are, and then we've got 5 steps, and again, it's in its own little box. So already I'm like, tick here. It says, decide the style and skill you are testing. Create a dice pool with that number of d6s equal to your level in this test's style. Choose your action die. Humans use a d8 action die, and monsters use a d20. Wilders have access to both. Roll your dice pool, and then add your skill bonus. And check for successes. What's your action day got to do with it then? I guess you just roll the pool and add it all together, and then add your skill bonus. Check for success. Your style dice determines whether you succeeded or not, and if you do, the action die determines the quality of that success. Oh, interesting. So there's degrees of success with your bonus, or with your action die, which feels like it's so with your d20. If you're using that feels like a much bigger scale. A common short-term consequence of failing tests is that you lose stamina. The less stamina you have, the more dangerous it is to press forward. A more long-term consequence is that you lose harmony, a shared resource that represents your pack's relationship with each other and the natural world. Excuse me. So more on the core rules, see how to play, which we'll get to. Then we have journeys. So journeys, they make up the bulk gameplay, where you explore wild places and hunt frenzied monsters. Each phase of a journey reflects your main duties as a wilder. When you're trying to reach a destination, use the rules for the trail. When you're trying to fight a frenzied monster, use the rules for the hunt. And when you're trying to cook a meal, use the rules for the feast. Like taking a hike or cooking a meal, context makes the experience unique even whilst the framework stays the same. The tutorial in this quick start, A Recipe for Disaster, is just one example of many adventures you can have in this one land. Look at that. We've got top image here, there's chapter 2 of, it looks, again, another huge tortoise type creature, much, much bigger, like almost as I would say, this looks like you're looking over the Grand Canyon in a way. You see this huge creature with like a town on its back. It probably moves around a little bit. And then here, down below, we've got what looks like shepherds with llamas. And then one of the wilders at top looking over this land. It looks like very deserty slash... basically my idea of like how cowboys are in the old Wild West. Oh, there you go. We've got this image again of the individual with the goggles and the crab claw, but this time it's actually painted out. So characters, your persona in the one land. So in Wilderfeast, your character sheet is an evolving personal chronicle, each attribute representing a major moment from your life or a monster that you've made part of yourself. So this quick start includes six pre-generated wilders with backstories and connections, all of their own, which you can play in the tutorial adventure. And to help you choose one that fits your playstyle, this section covers the various elements This section covers what the various elements on a character sheet mean. So it's not going to go through like how to make them, because we've got the pre-generated ones, which totally makes sense. So styles. So styles are the core attributes of wilders and monsters, representing the overarching approach that actions can take. They could range from +0 to +5 for monsters and +1 to +5 for wilders. So you always have a +1. Each pre-generated wilder starts with +3 in one style, +2 in another style, and +1 in the remaining styles. Oh, so it sounds like we could actually make our own if we wanted to. For each level you have in a style, you get a d6 when rolling tests, and there are 4 styles in total. We've got Mighty, Precise, Swift, and Tricky. So Mighty is being strong, tough, firm, or blunt. Precise is calm, methodical, focused, or accurate. Swift is quick, energetic, alert, or dexterous. And Tricky is being subtle, deceitful, technical, or shrewd. How interesting. Because, again, it's clearly like Mighty is for strength kind of like actions. Precise, I'd say, like eye for detail, all that sort of thing. Swift is movement. Tricky is like shrewd, so maybe a bit more like talkative, but it's all based in emotions. It's not saying like this is what you do it for, like a strength or dexterity. So, excuse me. So interesting. I also like how the box has these little like the little triangle like motif throughout. That's quite cute. Oh lord, whoa! So many skills. Skills are abilities wilders and monsters use the most. They range from +0 to +3. Each pre-generated wilder starts with a +1 in 3 different skills and 0 in the remaining skills. So, everyone has access to these. Okay. For each level you have in a skill, increase a die result by 1 after you roll. Oh yes, of course, it's a modifier. You can combine any skill with any style when making tasks, and there are 12 skills in total. We've got Assurance, we've got Call, we've got Craft, we've got Cure, we've got Display, Grab, Hoard, Search, Shot, Strike, Study, and Traversal. Oh, interesting. And there we have examples. So here it says Assurance, so make a Mighty Assurance to pin a monster to the ground until it calms down. But you could also say make a Swift Assurance to boost a patmate's confidence with your boisterous demeanour. Oh, that's quite cool. I might actually ask Wilder players and to give me a pitch for their things about how they do stuff. That's pretty cool. I like that. Now here we've got Call. Make a precise call to echolocate and sense your surroundings, or make a tricky call to imitate the phrase of a bird song. Gathering information. So to check what information your character knows, follow these steps with your guide. If it's common knowledge or obvious, you know it. If you have a reason to know it because of your background, you know it. If you have no reason to know it, but you have a way of finding out, make a test. The default skill is to use study, but you can adjust both your style and skill depending on how you acquire your information. You find out whether you succeed or fail, but the outcome of the test determines what it costs you. You find out. Oh, that's quite good. It's not like, you don't know. You find out whether you succeed or fail, but the outcome will cost you. That's quite good. And if you don't have a way of finding out, you don't know. That's pretty good. I like that. All right, we've got an hour left. We'll just keep chugging along. It's taking a little while, but I did fluff a bit out at the beginning. So traits. So these are qualities that make every creature special, like a flying or venom. Some traits can be upgraded multiple levels, e.g. flying 2, in which case you acquire them one level at a time. Every trait has an explicit mechanical effect, but feasibly, your traits can help in any situation as long as you can describe how. By default, every creature has grit, a trait representing life's quintessential will to survive. Every human also has insight, a trait that represents their intelligence and ability to read situations. These two traits are already written on your pre-generated character sheets, and we'll discuss them more on page 14 after we go over some more basic rules. And in addition, each pre-generated character has 2 starting traits representing their most dramatic mutations. Ah, okay, so we're starting almost media res. We're starting not as like your first time out or anything like that, so that's quite interesting. The mechanics for these traits are included on the character sheet for ease of reference, but as with grit and insight, they make more sense after you read the rules. And I've got like a really beautiful like sun's, I want to say a sun, or maybe it's a moon setting on a coast, and we see like the edge of a coastline with some rocks and like almost like an orange sea from the light of the sun. I'm going to say now, but it does look like a moon. I don't know. Other attributes. Each character also has the following attributes: a name and 2 prompts for your personality. A tool! Put that in capitals there. An oversized cooking utensil made from a regenerating mystical metal called arc steel. Ooh. Your tool serves as your weapon in combat, and each tool comes with a starting technique, a special timer trait exclusive to the tool you're wielding. Ah, yes, so this is your unlockable trees I can see here. And then we have a 3-course background framing your life so far through food. Each background also has a connection and detail linking your background to another character's. Oh, great. Big fan of that. Since there's no guarantee which pre-generated wilders your group will choose, decide who your connection is referring to after everyone has picked their characters. Nice. It then says a hometown staple and hometown spice, the fundamental ingredients that define your cooking. And then a monstrous acquaintance, a monster NPC who gives you a concrete relationship with the natural world. So for this quick start, every character has the same monstrous acquaintance. Sweet Loaf, a gentle armoured monster called Malmudu. In the full version of Wilderfeast contains rules for customizing these attributes during character creation. And then finally, each character sheet has fields for attributes that change frequently over the course of the game, like your stamina and your tools, durability, and your conditions. Fair enough. And, oh, I see. This is so the image here continues onto this page. Nice. That looks pretty good. Oh, we have an example of a character sheet. Amazing. Let's zoom out and have a look. Oh, are these all the character sheets? Or is it just an example of one? Oh, so it's 2 pages. Oh, look at that. The example one uses they, them pronouns. That's very rare. That's very rare that happens. Gosh, I love the colours of it. We've got blues, we've got greens, we've got yellows. I wonder if this would be... I don't know again about colour blindness, like accessibility, but I feel like greens I know are a bit tricky. I think it's kind of readable. Or like all the text, or the big text, is either highlighted or capitalized, so if you need to look at it, I think it really adds to it. So here, the prize is the character we're looking at. They've got they, them pronouns, and they've got 3 in mighty, 2 in precise, 1 in swift, and 1 in tricky. In terms of skills, they've got 1 in display, 1 in search, and 1 in strike. And then they've got cleaver, it's got durability of 20, and it's got strike, and it's got clean cut as well. And then traits, they've got grit and insight, which costs a success, increases A by 1. Grit, I assume that's armor, perhaps. A. Sorry, I'm lucky. Threatened costs 1 mighty success, and electroreceptive. And then we've got stamina, so that's your hit points essentially. Got a gorgeous little image of them. And here we got you are scary, but you struggle to be decisive. That's your acquaintance. Your staple is sourdough. And the spice is arc ebony pepper. I wonder if there's tables you know, in the full game, but you could roll stuff on. And here we've got the free course background. We've got upbringing, initiation, ambition, and then connection. So that's cool. So upbringing, and it goes, what is the meal that defines your childhood? And it says here, grilled fish on stale bread. You scrounged up all the leftovers you could from the dockside market because your parents never told you never to waste what the world gave you freely, which has got a +1 search. Oh, interesting. Initiation, what was the meal that made you a wilder? It says here, a bowl of porridge containing carefully measured cubes of shark-like meat. You became a sport wilder, assisting charter officers in their hunts for a scent hound. Like a scent hound. With them, you never went hungry, but they treated you a little better than the dogs. +1 strike. Oh, gosh. Oh, does it connect? I see. So you can connect these up to the skills. That's quite good. What is the meal you want to eat the most? And here it says, the best cut of a difficult catch. You'll never ask for it for yourself, but one day you hope someone will offer it as a reward for work especially well done. Very good. Go forth in hunger, wilder. Your trial awaits you. We've got some drawn images here. Again, I don't know if this is because it's the quick starts. We have these sort of working processes ones. I love these. I love those questions. I know, aren't they great? Again, what a cool way to put the vibes in for this game. But it is a bit all over the place with the tone. But I guess at the same time, it's like, it's serious and silly. You just got to find it. So I guess having that conversation and setting those expectations. But yeah, what a great free course background. Love that. I actually like having free questions. That's probably something I'd like to do. How to play. So this is the image I was talking about. Oh, so it is full of people. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, no. So yeah, you can see all the people fighting on this. It looks like a very small pan, but there's lots of these people that look. You can see there's an individual here that's fishing. That's quite good. All right. Let's see how to play. But I see, this is what I meant. Like, this is a cool image, right? But they've expanded it for that GM screen, and I'm just there going like, I like it, but I don't think it's a good GM screen because then you've got all this big space there. Unless you had like pots and like condiments, perhaps, happening on the other side. Or maybe it's like it's the main panel, and then you have other panels happening. Maybe it's just a bit too busy for the GM screen. I don't know, but I do like it a lot. I think it's really cool. I actually think, I wonder if I would have this image over the one at the top. I feel like, I don't know, this image is gorgeous as well. I really like it. But I really like, whoa, sorry, I've zoomed over ahead now. I really like this one. It feels so anime, you know? All right, how to play. So like many tabletop role-playing games, Wilderfeast is a conversation between players. You talk to each other, set goals, ask questions, and attempt actions. Sometimes you zoom in, playing out every moment of tense situations, and other times you zoom out, covering events with a quick montage. As the conversation unfolds, questions will arise. Will you succeed or won't you? What happens next? And whilst you can answer many of these questions by consensus, no, we all agree that's impossible, or I think it makes sense if the monster reacts like this, other times you turned to dice. Oh, I moved it across. There we go. There you go, you see it. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, no, I've done this to myself now. There we go. Perfect. So in this section, we're going to cover the main way Wilderfeast answers questions of uncertainty through tests. We'll also go over a couple simple ways you can adjust tests to fit a variety of situations. When you're just using these basic rules to mediate the conversation of the game, that's called free play. And the only difference between free play and Journeys is that Journeys provides some extra structure on top of the foundation that free play lays. No matter what you are doing or where the conversation has gone, you can always fall back on these rules. That's pretty good, isn't it? So again, it's just nice to set it up at the top by saying like, hey, in this chapter we're doing this, and this is all you need to know for the basic things, and all the different like other situations, so like traveling, the stuff with the monsters and cooking, it's the same mechanic, and then we're just going to add something to it because of the context. Great, I like that a lot. So rolling a test. So tests are how you resolve risky actions. Before you roll any test, work with the guide to answer this question. What's at stake? Only roll if it's something significant. Deciding what counts as significant is a part of setting the tone for your game, and every group builds consensus organically as they play. Once you decide to roll a test, follow these steps. The following sections will go over each step in detail. So again, we're just having that quick reminder. This is the second time we've gone through this. Decide your style and skill. Create a dice pool with d6s equal to your level in the styles test. You choose your action die. You use a d8 or a d20, depending if you're human or a monster. Depending if you're human or monster, and wilds can have access to both. And roll your dice pool and add your skill bonus. Check for success. Your style dice will determine whether you succeed. So I presume that is you are adding. It's like 6. It's like 4, 5, and 6 is a success, right? And the number of successes there, perhaps. Oh no, it's probably maybe there is going to be a. Actually, what's the point of the skill bonus? Maybe it is maybe it is like a target number you have to beat, and then if you do so, the action die determines the quality of that success. Okay. So, first, we state our goal. What are you trying to accomplish? What action is your character performing within the world? If necessary, ask questions to clarify not only what, but how. And based on the answer, the guide then decides the test style and skills. And then we've got some examples. Oh, how interesting. So the examples, they're not put away as like one box. They're sort of separated out, probably step by step. So that's pretty good. And they're not in boxes necessarily. They've got like almost like a paintbrush style background. So again, you can still see the interior art. That's quite good. And it makes it a little bit easier to see it and be like, oh, that's where it is. I like it pointing to it like that. Depending on how your action fits the situation, the guide can adjust the risk, cost, or outcome of the test. So risk is your likelihood to succeed, so advantage, disadvantage. Cost, you pay stamina or some other resource just to make the attempt. And outcome, you gain additional benefits or you face additional consequences. Are these dices? Oh, sorry, die, sorry. Oh, these are d8s. So there, and then we're going back to the example, and it says here, number 2, create a dice pool. So to create a dice pool, gather your number of d6s equal to your level, and these are called style dice. Why do dice get cool names, and yet the GM's lumbered with, like, the guide? Surely you'd call them something else, like, I don't know, ice cubes, or something food-based, right? Get your knuckle bones. I don't know. Choose your action die. So during the step, you'll gain an action die. The action die's result is your action score, abbreviated to A. Oh, so that's what the thing was talking about before. It's not armor on the pre-generated sheet. And if you succeed, the action die measures your effectiveness. If you don't succeed, the action die does nothing. Sometimes the effect of an action die has a strict definition, like when you deal action die damage. But other times, the GM will use it as an abstract gauge for success and like how convincing your lie was. Humans use d8s, monsters use d20s, and wilds are both human and monstrous, so they can switch between dice sizes. Now, I instantly am like, why can't you use it for failures as well? Like how bad your failures go. It reminds me a little bit like in the show Backwater Bastards, when you roll a d100, when you roll a natural 20, you do a d100 to see how good, like how successful and what extra benefits you get. And I've always enjoyed that for it. But equally, if you roll a natural 1, you also roll a d100 to see how badly it goes. So I think you should, because I think you are absolutely going to forget. That's what it means. So, to rely on your human strengths, focus up, and D8 action die to your dice pool. This option is consistent and reliable. Alternatively, become a monster and go wild. Choose one of your traits and describe how it helps you in this situation. Be bold and imaginative. Oh, the T's are a bit odd, aren't they? With your description. Most traits apply to more situations than you think at first glance, and guides are encouraged to be as generous as possible with what they permit. You can't go wild with default traits, grit and insight, or your tool techniques. Then remove one style die and place it... Oh. Wait a minute. Hang on. And then replace it with a D20 action. This is risky, but it could make your action an order of magnitude more effective. I see. So, if it was you're doing, I don't know, a swift graft, and your swift was 2 d6s, and your grift and your craft was 1. So in total, you're rolling 2 d6 plus 1, right? But then you're like, well, I'm doing it as a human, so I'm focusing up. So I add a d8 So it's not going to change the die necessarily. But then the monster one, you take a style die out. So you take one of those d6s out and replace it with a d20. It must be some sort of target number thing. It must be, right? For NPCs, just use the appropriate action die to their dice pool. Okay. Roll your dice pool, and after rolling, you can add 1 to the dice result for each level you have in the test skill. You can apply this bonus to 1 die or multiple dice, or split it unevenly, and you can raise the dice before... Wait. And you can raise a die roll beyond its rollable maximum, on for example, a 9 on a d8. Typically, you want to prioritize getting at least +5 on a style die. Then depending... I see. Then you can apply your remaining skill bonus to an action die or manipulate the style die to get more results. I understand now. So you at least want to have one of your dice 5 or more. And you have the +3 and you can add it to anything. I get it. Okay. And that's why the d20 is quite fun, because then you can roll that and add to that. And you can add to that. And then, yeah, if you're like, oh, I got a success, but I rolled really poorly on my d8 as a human, I can add my skill to bump it up a little bit. That's really interesting. I had an interesting... Feels a little bit complex at first glance, but I think it's something that could be interesting. So do you focus up or go wild? So the wilders blur the line between humans and monsters. As a wilder, every time you make a test, you choose which side of yourself to embrace. Humans are versatile, but they're little creatures in a big world. Oh. You could probably hear the train going past. I wonder if they've got my mail. I'll let them just pass. That's pretty loud on the recording. Interesting. Is it going down? It's slowly going away. Yeah, I think that works. It's really loud over here, so apologies. So next up, I was going to say... Oh god, they're still going. Holy heck. What was I saying? Humans are versatile. There you go. It feels like... Yeah, there we go. Sorry, for some reason my video was not doing it right. I don't know. I'll have to check it out when I get back in. Humans are versatile, but they are little creatures within a big world. Going human leaves your dice pool unaltered, whilst at the same time adding a middling d8 to your dice pool. This increases your chances, but limits the range of the action die, which in turn limits the effectiveness of your success. I think I'm going to take a drink quickly. There we go. Then, monsters are more specialized and they have access to unique features. Their traits. If you go wild, you sacrifice a d6 from your pool, but you get a hefty d20. This lowers your chances of success, but it also increases the range of the action die by 150%. Oh, okay. We can weigh these approaches for every situation. For example, it is safer to focus up if your style for a test is just a +2, but sometimes you don't have time for the safe option. And during the heat of combat, embracing your monster side and going wild could make all the difference. Right. I understand. So you're lowering your successes, but you're still having it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. I think, you know what would help here? Like a visual diagram of showing the dice. I think that's the key thing I'd like to see here. You can see this person is like a cat person. You've got their little whiskers and you've got little ears through the hat. So there you go. Okay. And then we got check for success after each result of a 5 or more on a style dice, that is say every d6 except the action die, or every die except the action die is a success. If you have no successes, you fail. Guides, remember that failing isn't just nothing happens, try again. The situation changes, the opportunity is lost, or an opposing force gets the initiative. Always, the consequences of failure produce interesting results. And that's why I think that you should include the action die on it. Like, it's not like nothing happens, but there's a complication in it. Oh, after you fail going wild, your pack also loses 1 harmony. This is in addition to any other consequences. Harmony represents your relationship with the natural world, and when you're not in sync with your monster side, you strain at that relationship. For more on harmony, see page 19. If you have at least 1 success, you accomplish what you set out to do, but not necessarily without complications. You then check the action rating to determine what happens next. Here we go. So we've got 1 to 4 represents a partial success. If you're not as effective as you planned, you suffer a setback. Why is that? I swatched. Maybe it's always been that low. I don't know. Hang on. There we go. So you can tell I am not with it today. 5 to 7 represents a standard success. It's what you did. You did what you wanted. But then an 8+ represents a critical success. You're very effective, or you gain momentum going forward. Oh, so that feels a little bit like Quest and their thing. So they have a D20 in the Quest RPG, and anything above a 6 is a success. I feel like we would want more degrees of stuff. I know it's 8+ is supposed to be like, well, humans can only get up to 8 and more. But I think you should have something for monstrous stuff as well. And then it says, if you have multiple successes, you can spend the extra on traits that cost successes. You can use multiple traits or a single trait multiple times, provided you have the successes to do so. You can't spend your last or only success. Once you've done spending successes, the guide checks the action die as normal. So, and then we've got on the right here, we've got an example of the grit and insight. So here we go. Grit will cost 1 success to increase the action die by 1, so to decrease that degree a little bit more. And then insight here, humans establish a detail about the situation you cost with. So you can add a detail to it. That's pretty good. Gives a little bit more this text is awful. Sorry, it's a different font to the one over here. So it's trying to talk about like, how do you use insight and establish detail, how to make it better. We'll go into that. What did I just say? Did I not say to have like a diagram? Look what they've done. They've done a cute little diagram. Love that. Sorry, I'm looking at it now. Got the 5 steps, got the imagery. Great, that's what you need to print out. Perfect. Love that. Very, very good. All right, let's go on to advantage and disadvantage. Let's zoom in a little bit. Math rules. So math does rule, but also always round up. 0 is the minimum. Add multiplying and dividing effects together. So for example, if 2 effects double a number, you instead triple a number. Oh, I see. Yes. So if 2 numbers halve a number, you instead divide it by 3. Right. It's grouping them together. I understand how to segment like. Yeah. So rather than like double and double again, it's doubling it, it's tripling it. And instead of dividing and dividing again, you divide it by 3. Makes sense. So to represent the shifting circumstances, the riskiness of actions, or how well you've adapted to a situation, the guide gives you advantage or disadvantage on a test. Interesting. Advantage is results of 4+ on a style dice are successes, and disadvantage are 6 and plus. I've never seen that before. How interesting. I like that. I think that's quite cool. So you're not adding more dice. That's pretty good. And then obviously advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out, no matter how many sources of advantage or disadvantage they have. And then helping a packmate. To gain advantage through help. Before any packmate rolls, you declare you are helping. Choose one of your traits and describe how it helps your packmate in the situation. This is similar to how you would go wild. Then spend 1 harmony and give advantage to your packmate for their test. If your packmate fails, you both suffer the consequences. A wilder can only receive help from 1 packmate at a time. Yep, that makes sense, because you can't reduce it down more than 4. Challenges. Wait. What? Oh, wow. So challenges are sequences of tests. Oh, I see. Right. Where the successful test adds its action die to a running total. Oh, okay. You succeed at the challenge if the total number of action points reaches or succeeds a target number abbreviated to TN. So for example, if you succeed a TN 10 challenge, if your total action exceeds or reaches 10. And then that's a short challenge, a 30 is a moderate challenge, and 50 is a long challenge. I was there like going like, there's no way your action die will get up to 50, but that's interesting. So this is how you do challenges rather than just like grouping it all together. It's like almost a slow process. It's like a timer. Interesting. Okay. The number of tests you can make when you make them depend on the challenge. Guides, if time and resources are limited, set a timer. Draw a circle and divide it into segments, or fill a segment or tick it at regular intervals, such as the start of every session, journey, or in-game day. You can also tick the timer when a condition is met, such as every time a wilder makes a test, if that makes more sense. The timer's prefix indicates how many segments it has, so a 4-tick timer, 4 times before it's done. They typically have 4 to 12 segments. If the timer finishes and the challenge isn't complete, then you fail the challenge and suffer the consequences. Nice, okay. And we've got an example here again. Consequences. All right, how are we doing on time? All right, we might finish up in about 10 minutes or so. When it comes to consequences, the fiction leads the way. It's usually obvious what happens if you fail to soothe the monster or climb the cliff or find the tracks. Depending on the situation, multiple consequences might follow a single test, or you might face between consequences. And here are broadly the types of consequences. We've got resources, opportunity, impact, control, collateral, and health. So resources costs, so your attempt costs time, supplies or influence, you lose ingredients or access to your tool, or you tick a challenge timer. So again, there's clocks elements we get from blades there. Opportunity, your current approach is no longer viable, so you can't use the same style or skill to get through a situation. Yeah, I like that. If you're not as effective as you hoped, this consequence always happens when the exact value of the action die matters, such as when you're completing a challenge. You end up in a risky position with control. You have disadvantage on your next test or series of tests. All the consequences of future failures become greater. Collateral is somebody else gets hurt, or on health is that you get hurt. You suffer a condition, lose stamina, or your pack loses harmony. Okay. A common consequence for failing or partial success is that you lose 2 stamina. For failure, you also lose the opportunity. You can't use the same style or skill again to get through the same situation. And finally, remember that if you're going to fail after going wild, your pack will always lose 1 harmony in addition to the consequences. Guides, if you're ever not sure what to inflict, you can easily fall back on these guidelines. Whilst the consequences may seem simple, they are versatile prompts to describe how the world responds to the wilder actions. What causes the wilder to lose stamina? Why has the opportunity been lost? Answering these 2 questions alone can dramatically change the situation. Nice. I think it's kind of straightforward. There's a little bits and pieces that might take a little bit getting used to, but I like how it's conversational in its tone and saying like, hey, consider these ways of dealing with it. Yeah, I quite like that. What's going on? There we go. All right, how are we doing? This is conditions, and then it's going to go to the trial. I probably might leave it once we get to the end of this because I'm just aware of time. I've got to get gone. So we've got conditions. So being fatigued as you march through a howling blizzard, being hidden as you fade into the foliage, being frightened. Oh well, that should be capitalized. It should be in red, shouldn't it? As a monster makes a threatening display. These are all conditions. Most conditions are negative, but some have positive effects. If something inflicts you with a condition, whilst you're already suffering it, it increases a level. So this is very much like the City of Mist game. And I think Legend of Mist does this as well. If you're wounded, you become wounded again, and your condition becomes 2 wounded. Likewise, if something removes a condition whilst you have multiple levels of it, then it only decreases a level. If a condition does not list another level in its description, then the last one listed is the maximum. You only suffer the effects at your current level. Nah, bugger off. Thank you. Sorry, I hate those bots that turn up on Twitter. Twitter? Oh, Twitter as well, but Twitch. You only suffer effects at your current level. Typically, you remove conditions when you camp or eat meals. counterbalance effects. In the full version, you also remove conditions during downtime, a period of rest, recuperation between journeys. Stamina represents your energy and your health and energy. Many techniques cost stamina. If you spend more stamina than you have, you become wounded, and then your stamina then resets to maximum. You then have to pay the remaining stamina cost. Oh, I see. Okay. There's some examples there. What's harmony? We have a maximum of 20 stamina. You may recover stamina through food and downtime. Alright. So, harmony represents your relationship with the natural world, including your pack mates who are, after all, part of the natural world. In this quick start, it starts at a maximum of 3. In the full version, it fluctuates depending on your choices over the course of many journeys. Harmony is a resource shared by the entire pack, so keep a track of it in a place where everyone can see it. It loses 1 harmony each time you go wild and fail. This type of failure represents a rift between your human side and monstrous sides. Perhaps you've ignored your monstrous instincts, or perhaps you gave in to them without thinking. The more these failures accumulate, the more you, a human animal with inhuman mutations, feel stranger within your own body. If harmony decreases whilst it's at 0 and it remains at 0, and instead of wild... Wait, hang on. If harmony decreases whilst it's at 0, it remains at 0, and instead the wilder who caused harmony to decrease becomes discordant. It's listed with the other conditions in the appendix, but since it's relevant, its effects are also included here. Oh, you gain disadvantage on all tests. You've got to increase the harmony above 0. Interesting. Additionally, the pack spends 1 harmony each time you use your traits to help a packmate. Harmony is just something you protect, but it's also a power you go above and beyond for those around you. As with when you go wild and fail, if harmony is decreased to 0, remains at 0, instead the wilder who caused harmony to decrease, in this case the helper, not the one being helped, becomes discordant. Yes. For both human and monsters, it is important to acknowledge... oh, ow. Sorry, I picked a scab there. For both humans and monsters, it's important to acknowledge aid with praise, gratitude, or even just a trace treat. Whilst helping a packmate may have a stricter upfront cost than going wild, it also directly paves the way for you to restore any lost harmony because... And then it has a way to restore it. The pack gains a harmony each time you and your packmates bond over a meal. After that, harmony represents the circle of life, the flow of energy between all things, and the delicate systems in which all creatures of the one land participate. At the end of the day, it has a lot to do with food as well. And every meal is a reminder of that. Despite the discrepancies in scale, humans and monsters are not so different after all. You know your character's heart best, so you decide when to trigger this effect. Try to honour the spirit of this rule, but also be generous with yourself. It's not cheating or gaming the system, for this is to happen with every meal, so long as you make an effort to acknowledge where your food came from and who you're sharing it with. Harmony can only be increased once per meal. And finally, during free play, the guide can also increase or decrease harmony depending on your choices. Harmony increases if you take significant actions that steward, sustain, or restore nature, like rehabilitating an injured monster and releasing it back into the wild, and decreasing it if you take actions that are destructive or short-sighted, like killing a monster without cause. The guide has the final say of what causes harmony to rise and fall, although it is their responsibility to communicate clearly before this might happen. Okay. It seems like harmony, all it's really used for is a way for you to be like, I'm giving advantage to someone. Right? That's what I feel it is. There's nothing else mechanical for it. What it's doing. At least I can't see it easily. That you don't need to spend it to activate your abilities, do you? And then we've got the different journeys. So the next 3 chapters are the trail, the hunt, and the feast, which talks about the different ways you do it, which we're not going to get onto. What I do want to have a quick look at. Look at these artworks. They're great, aren't they? I wanted to look a little bit at the cooking see if there's anything else in it, but I'm just aware of time because I've got to go shoot off subsequent rounds. Is that the cooking? No, it's combat rounds. We don't need to look at combat. But like I said, I really like how, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit so people can see it. It's all summarized in like a very clean box, which it looks very pretty, and you can read more about it. And I'm sure at the end it's going to have these reference sheets that you could print out for your players. Monster behavior. Oh, look at that creature. Oh, that's horrible. It's like some sort of like weird bat-like creature without wings, like teeny tiny wings. It also looks like it's wearing a wig of some sort. And then we have the feast. Oh, answer the following questions. How interesting. So again, a way to do that role play, perhaps. Give thanks. Oh, that's really cute. We thank you for this gift, monster. We receive it with love. That's pretty good. Nice way of doing it. And then we've got other meals, your pantry, ingredients. Oh, look, these images are great, aren't they? Some of the ones with the different food. I can see here, like, little, like cheese balls with little tentacles poking out. So there's ways to... Oh, wow, this is really in-depth, the cooking stuff, it seems like. To cook, follow these steps. Select the ingredients. Determine how much stamina each meal restores. Determine the meal's effect. Either serve it fresh or save it for later. Oh, that's quite cool. And then cooking ideas. Oh, that's quite fun. I love a good roleplay. And some sample recipe. Oh, that's pretty fun. It says here, the sample recipe of breakfast pancakes with king flour butter. Restores 1 stamina, no additional effect. Nice. Then we've got wing fish dumplings. Restores 5 stamina until your next meal. Gain 1 level of the flying trait. Fishball noodle soup with winter vegetables. Restores 8 stamina until your next meal. Gain 3 mighty. Oh, that's fun. Aurora honey tea. Oh my god, that's a beautiful image there. Like some of an iridescent light. Restores 10 stamina. Removes 2 levels of the wounded condition. Steamed silver crabs. Restores 4 stamina. You gain 1 regenerative trait. Ah, okay. And a recipe for disaster. That's the tutorial scenario. Okay, I'm just going to again skip ahead a little bit because I don't want to cover it too much. But it seems to be decently weighed out. Like I said, the only issue I have is that it's a little too tiny text for my liking. Oh, that's quite good. They've got a little artwork for the individual like details of the event as well. I just saw that. What if they lose? Okay. I guess that's a good point, actually. What conditions, like, I'm guessing wounded takes you out of the game? Didn't really say, like, what's it in death saving throws and stuff. Maybe we'll have a quick look at that appendix. There we go. Discordant, hidden, wounded. Wounded 3, you've hit your limit. Your stamina stays at 0 and you can neither spend nor recover stamina. If you stay down, then you're out of the action. You may be able to crawl or speak hoarsely, but you cannot spend any action or test until you are no longer wounded 3. So yeah, so that's kind of it. There's no death saves here. And there's some quick references. I guess my only thing with quick references, it would be nice if they were actual... Oh, look at our combat encounter. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Oh, I assume then the clock maybe is for... maybe that's a way to track like segments for like the challenges, perhaps? I'm just looking at... There's some gorgeous artwork on this pre-generated stuff. Nice. Bug. Those are huge other myths. That's fun. Like that. So I've got 5. Oh, not great name. Oh, look, they've got like a little like thread. And then we've got the credits at the end. Ah, just 1 writer. That's quite fun. And then yeah, and then that's the image I was saying before about with the physical components. Interesting, interesting. All right. I appreciate that was a bit of a whistle stop at the end there because I just wanted to get through it and see the other bits and pieces. What do we think? What do we make of this game? I think it's got some promise to it. I think I'm glad it's talked a little bit about expectations. Maybe I would have liked it to go into a little bit more detail about that. Personally speaking, would have been quite interesting to see. You know what, some inspirations as well. So we talked about Monster Hunter and Godzilla, but obviously I'm like, Delicious in Dungeon. Maybe they didn't consider that. I don't know. But it would be nice to have like, here, if you've enjoyed this, here's some other inspirations we took from it, the touchstones. Maybe that's going to be in the core book, to be fair. I think the artwork's pretty fun. Not too much on the setting, but that's understandable. And again, it set that up for the expectations because that's all going to be in the core book. But I think you got enough to be like, here's enough to get going on to do that tutorial adventure. I like how I said, I would love a diagram here, and then literally 2 pages later we got a diagram, so that's quite fun. I think, yeah, it has... I'll be interesting to see how it plays. And obviously we didn't look through all the different the journeys, so like traveling, the cooking, and the combat necessarily. But if it's all that base, the test, and then a few extra bits added on would be interesting. I did like how, yeah, I mean, we only looked at it briefly, but the cooking, because that's the thing, I would love to see, if I was running this, I would love to do the actual cooking bit. Let me see. The feast. I think that's the key thing for this, because that's sort of what I think is the milestone of it. See, this image here of them at the campsite, I think that could be a much better GM screen, perhaps. I don't know, maybe have some more monsters hiding out on the wide view. Yeah, so I think if I had more time, I would definitely read through the other journeys. Maybe I'd skip the hunt, because it sounds like, as I said, monsters have parts. Oh, so are you cutting them up? Passive, like a shell. Oh, so there's more stuff to it. So it builds off that thing. It feels a little bit like Warhammer fantasy roleplay, where it's like, here's the main mechanic and here's the stuff you add on it after the main mechanic. But would I run this? Would I play this? I'd have to read through the starter adventure. I think that's the key thing. If the starter adventure doesn't appeal to me, then the answer is no. I definitely would like to play it like start to end. And I feel like the cooking stuff, like the ritual of that sort of thing, I like that earlier on, personally speaking. Yeah, I think it feels like a good start, which I know feels very damning. But I think we got through like rolling a test. Yeah, we basically got through 20 pages, didn't we? And then the trail, tracking monsters, hunt. I quite liked how it said like, here's what you do with math stuff, but also here's what you do about knowledge, that meta knowledge, which sometimes I struggle with as characters and players. I really loved sample recipes and click through that. I think that's great. Again, that just puts it in a bit more. I like the free-course background. That's a roleplay mode. I guess, how much food puns do you do? How much food stuff's in it? Because then could you go to like a Feast of Legends type thing, or Feast of Heroes, or whatever it's called? I think it's Feast of Legends, or Legends of Feast. God, I opened it up earlier and I still can't remember what it's called. Hang on, let me find it. The book that we looked at. Feast of Legends, it's called. Oh no, not Feast of Legends. That's not what I'm thinking of at all. Sorry, it's been a little while, so my brain is not 100%. Lands of Silverplate. Tasty Lands of Silverplate is what I meant. Feast of Heroes is the Wendy's. It's the Wendy's food stuff. Equally bonkers. Also 5th edition. So yeah, Tasty Lands of Silverplate mixed with Mappamundi, mixed with what was the other ones I was thinking of? Yeah, there's definitely inspirations from other games. It feels like here, if you didn't like this game, you could find another game to play. Again, what is the audience? I guess I feels like anyone can play this, and the artwork again is beautiful. But I wonder if it's aimed at a younger audience. And then how does a setting cope with that? And are there resources to talk about like things like, animal cruelty? Or helping animals, like that's the sort of stuff I'd like to see, because it's talking about like be conscious about it, and about like changes in the land and how animals react, and certainly if they're frenzying, I feel like we just got to be a little bit careful. And maybe I just have some resources available, or like some talks, or something like that, because I just think it's a very don't get me wrong, I understand why people are like, but I don't want to think about that stuff, but I genuinely find that stuff interesting, and I'd like to play a game more where we're dealing with these issues of kind of animal control, and and helping animals not suffer anymore. But like, I don't know about eating them. So I don't know. I think I would play this, or at least try and run it and see what we get from it. I do wonder if it does become one note of you just constantly like find monster, just get rid of it, eat it, repeat. Like, is there any other bits you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there are other stories out there, and I'd love to see them. Maybe they're all in the book. But I just feel like it could easily become repetitive. I think that's my sort of worry, I guess. But there you go. That is Wilderfeast. You are what you eat. The RPG. Is any of these that did work? Okay. So yeah, you can go check that out on the Horrible Guild website. And you can also get it on Drive for RPG for free as well. Go get it from the website. And if you enjoy it, it's about $30 for the PDF, which I don't think is too bad. So what's that, like 27, maybe £26, maybe a little less. But there you go. Let's go to Big Fiona Face. Hello, thanks for dealing. Hello, thanks for dealing with this. I hope you've enjoyed us reading through this game. Sorry, I'm still getting used to stuff, and I was kind of put off by the train going through, which is a classic thing to happen. My name is Fiona. Thank you so much for watching, or if you're watching this back, I'm so sorry. I am... Oh, let's do all the plugs very quickly at the end. I'm the host of What Am I Rolling, which is a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast. I'm also a co-host of the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly D&D kind of RPG discussion podcast where we read D&D and related things and discuss how we would include it and improve it for all kinds of people, whether you're brand new to RPGs or you just play 5th edition. I'm also 1/3 of the RP Geeks, which is a weekly stream on Tuesdays where we do RPG silliness and sometimes Blood on the Clock Tower. Depending on our feelings. We're very close to finishing our current series of Mythic, which is a D&D meets Ancient Greek series, which has been a lot of fun. It's one of those games where I'm like, I keep thinking about it after we finish the session, which is always good. So yeah, go check those out. When will I be back? Great question. I'm so glad you asked, chat. Jeeks, yes, thank you. Thanks, Snap, I appreciate it. Let me look. When am I next back doing something? I think I have planned... fingers crossed for next Wednesday. I'm just going to check my diary, because hopefully I'm not... Yeah, I should be able to do next Wednesday. She says now. It depends on me. Thanks for the review. No, thanks for staying, guys. I appreciate it. It's all a bit like... Oh god, what is she okay? I am okay. Like I said, I've just been busy, so it's just quite nice to decompress and read about a game where you eat monsters. But next week, fingers crossed, I'm still available to do it for an hour and a half on Wednesday, 5 p.m. BST, 11 a.m. Central. I'm going to look at the Cosmere RPG. I mentioned it earlier because I was talking about the different metal stuff. I'm again looking at it for DM's Book Club, but I recently got a copy of it, and I want to have a look at I think there's a quick start, or at least a quick guide to it, because I've never read any Brian Sanderson. I've been listening to the Mistborn book. I'm about a couple of chapters in. So far, it feels normal. I've not got it yet. I'm sure I will do, but that's the plan for next Wednesday. I've got a couple of others that are scheduled, and I know I've rescheduled a couple that I was supposed to do last week. My aim is to try and do one a week where I can and keep it to like an hour and a half ish. Because I kind of enjoy it, and it's something basic and simple. And I think those people who watched like the last one saw I had a little bit of a rant about somebody who was like wanted to use the name too long and didn't read TTRPGs and then use a lot of AI. Don't like that. Please don't use AI. So I'm going to try and be a bit more regular, because I don't want people to be like, oh great, I can use this title now. Again, I'm not making any money off it, obviously. But that's it. I'll put the link in here for later on, because no doubt somebody will see it. If you would like to give a coffee, that's great. It's just going to go straight into paying for various subscriptions to editing stuff. But please don't feel you have to. I'd rather have people come and engage on these things rather than send me money right now, because I haven't been doing these as regularly as I should be doing, because I enjoy doing them. Anyway, team. thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. I hope you have a good Friday and a good weekend. I'm gonna go and get my hair cut. I can't wait. Seriously, it's I'm so excited. But yeah, I will hopefully see you guys next week. And if I don't, I'll see you at some point in the future. I'm going to find the end of stream button here. I'm going to wave awkwardly like it's I'm seeing off the Titanic. I saw that meme recently where it's just like you're waving on Zoom as if you're waving off the Titanic. So I'm going to do that now. All right, see you guys. Bye. Bye.